Hello everyone. This is the demo of our internship project, which was VisClick, which stands for Visualization of Clickstream Data. Broadly, our problem can be defined as creating visualizations that help in making inferences out of Clickstream data. In particular, we looked at three aspects of Clickstream data to visualize. First was to represent website topography as perceived by the users and compare and contrast it by how it was designed by the web designers. Second was to find association between various clickstream parameters and to incorporate a factor of time in them. And finally, we looked at some geographical aspects of clickstream data parameters. So we'll go through each of the visualizations that we created one by one and explain them to you. First of all, we'll look at what are the sources and sinks of a website. Here you can see there's an entry section at bottom and an exit section also at bottom. So these two are the sections. And there are various web pages on the top. You can sort the web pages by size and that will make clear. So here you highlighted, it shows that 15% of the total entries are from this particular web page and 15% of the total exits are also from this particular web page. You can even go to those web pages. You can compare two web pages by dragging and dropping them. Here, like it is 12% of entries and this is 11% of entries. Similarly, you can sort them by alphabetical order or size order, and that gives an insight about where do people come and leave the website from. Next, we looked at bounce rate. Bounce rate is defined as the number of people exiting the website to the total number of people visiting the web page, not entering to the web page, but visiting the web page. Here, the number of visitors to the web page are color coded, red being the highest, then yellow, then green, and finally blue. And the length of the bar represents the bounce rate. So as you can see, this particular page is of importance because here it's yellow in color, meaning a lot of people come into this page, but a high percentage of them, nearly 32%, leave. So you can click on these web page and go directly to that web page. That's the interactivity that this visualization supports. Next, this is a bubble plot. What we did was we created a transition matrix of people moving from one page to another. We created a matrix of all the web pages of the website, and the number of people moving from page A to page B are in the cell number AB of the transition matrix. Then we used that matrix as the adjacency matrix of a graph and created a graph structure out of those web pages. And finally, used the modularity technique to cluster them, successive cluster them. As you can see, there are a lot of clusters here. This one is the largest cluster. Then you can zoom in into further clusters like this cluster. Now you can even see the clusters are named, like here it's named Shop and Photoshop, which implies that most of the web pages in this cluster are related to Shop and Photoshop pages. You can zoom in further to the level of detail you want, and zoom out again. Then you can zoom in at some other cluster, like this is a cluster of Flash, Help and Blog. These are the three major components of the web pages of this cluster. Now this was the clustering according to how people move from the web page. There is an inherent clustering in web pages, which is of the web design, like A/B is a parent of A/B/C. So this is a clustering based on that. Now you can see here that it's a collapsible clustering. You can collapse the nodes and all. You can them big again. Another interesting aspect, interactivity of this visualization is if you suppose hover on some particular bubble, you will see some of the other bubbles being highlighted. These are the bubbles that people go to from the hovered over page. Like suppose if you hover over here, so a lot of people go from this page to other pages which are highlighted, and similarly you can do the same for incoming edges as well. Now a lot of people, not a lot of people come into this page, but considerably more do to this page. Finally, we looked at another thing which we call trigrams. Trigrams are defined as follows. Suppose there are two pages, page A, the one that's highlighted here, and page B, the one that's highlighted now. So if a lot of people move from page A to page B via some intermediate pages, it probably makes sense to provide a link of those pages to page B on page A. So these are the count of people who move from page A to page B. It's interactive in the sense that you can click on the bar graph and you will be taken to page A or B. If you click on the left side, you will go to page A, which is this, and if you click on the right side, you will go to page B. So the marketer or whoever is concerned is viewing the paragraph can easily make inferences, directly go to pages. Next, we move on to parameter association. Now, there are a lot of parameters of interest that can be computed from click-stream data, like there's time spent on the website or the click length, or whether there was purchase made or what sections of the website were visited. But not all of them are of similar kind, like time spent and click length are continuous in nature, that is, they have an inherent ordering in them, whereas whether there was a purchase or not is categorical, there is no inherent ordering. So we need to convert everything to categorical because that's the only way possible. And then we created this association matrix using an entropy based measure and came up with such a heat map of the matrix. We then use this matrix as a distance matrix to create clusters again, and as you can see, it forms very coherent clusters. You can see a very large cluster over here in red color of sections of the website that were visited together, like shopping cart open, edition, health, workspace, and you can see a very strong cluster of OS browser and resolution over here, meaning these three are very highly associated. Cross cluster blocks are colored as red, whereas each cluster is provided a color of its own, and the darker shades imply more association. Now, a very natural extension after having such a matrix is to create a adjacency matrix out of it and use it as a graph structure. So that's what we looked at next, and here we present a graph representation of the same data. Now here again, I'll just show you the same things again, like resolution is associated with browser. You can see that they both have a thick edge representing a higher association value. But this is too very cluttered to make any inferences out of it, so we moved to another visualization that was circular representation. It's a very interesting visualization because it presents a lot of information in a very succinct manner. Here, each of the parameters is represented as an arc on a circle, with the arc length being proportional to the total of its association with all other parameters. Like you can see, OS here has a very high arc length, and say account here has a very low arc length. Then you can see you can hover over particular parameters to see how they are associated with other parameters. Like as we already saw, browser is highly associated with OS and resolution. You can see the high width of the chords between them. So in a particular arc, the chord width is proportional to its association with that particular parameter. Another thing that you can note here is Shop and Photoshop are having a very high chord width, meaning that they are highly associated. So, and as I said, we try to incorporate the time aspect, so we have created an animation out of it. You can animate across time, it will change the R's over here, R2, R3, and you'll see if there were any significant changes, any anomalies that could have been very easily visible. But since the data was not very anomalous, we don't have much anomalies here. Anomalies of the kind like suppose this chord suddenly becomes very thin, then it might point to that there's a broken link on the shop page towards the Photoshop page, something like that. Also, one point I'd like to notice is if you can see here, new visitors are highly associated to time spent on the website and click length. Now, when we dig further, we found that new visitors tend to spend lesser time on the website and have a lesser click length on an average. So this is just to point out that our measure is of association, not of correlation. Because there is no inherent ordering, we cannot say whether new user will spend more time or less time, but we can say that there will certainly be a trend. So that's all from me. Now, Rohit will go to explain geography.
So the next aspect is how does a website look on a geography? So how does a website look means where are my users at the geographical level? So this is a plot showing the visitor distribution of the visitors to your website. So the red part indicates the high density and the green a little lower, and the rest are just like that. Not many visitors are there from there. So for plotting such kind of plots, we need latitude and longitude details up to a very accurate level. So these details were not available to us. So the idea of plotting based on latitude and longitude was restricted only to this visualization. So what else we could use for geographic visualization? Obviously the state level data. So using the state level data, we have done some visualizations. So this is how our normal US map looks like. California, the other states. So how does a map look when you keep certain things in your mind? Like if you want to see the map with the purchase. So when you keep purchase in your mind, the map looks something like this, saying that California looks bigger for you because a lot of purchases happen from California. Similarly, Texas, District of Columbia, which barely looks on a map, now it has become bigger. So now you can see this. So if you select any other feature like how many people come to my website for Flash. So this is how the map changes. You can see for the other 3 days as well how daily visitors for Flash are changing. So the size is basically proportional to the number of visitors to your Flash section of the website. So if you observe in this thing, take any feature, California will look bigger. It is because of the population effect. Since there are most of the US population is in California, so obviously whatever metric you select, the count is more for California. So to nullify this effect, we need to normalize our data. So we could normalize based on the total population, or another thing would be based on internet population. Based on the stats, we have normalized the data. So now how does it look after normalizing? Is California really catching our attention or not? Should it really catch? So check again for purchase. So if we have colored each state according to our expectation. So we expect some part of the purchases to happen from California, and if it is according to our expectation, we shade it gray, and if it is greater than expectation, we shade it green, and if it is less, we shade it red. So actually, California is just up to our expectation. It is not giving you more revenue or so. It is just up to our expectation, and of course, it has a little bit red shades as well. The ones which are giving you more revenue is Alaska and this one. So this is how normalization actually gives you the true picture, and this is just to see how much uh, more number of purchases you get from a particular state. So once you normalize, you get the actual picture of the data as well.